This is Aaron Nangle with waiverprovider.com. I'm here with Jim, Director of APD for the state of Florida. Thank you very much for taking the time to answer some questions for us.
My pleasure.
One of the questions that I wanted to ask is, one of APD's objectives is to ensure that persons with developmental disabilities meet their personal outcome measures. One of the personal outcome measures is to connect people that already get services to natural supports. What is APD doing to help people on the wait list get natural supports, and what natural supports do you know about that are currently out there in this economy?
Well, what APD is trying to do really goes, I would say, natural supports, but we're really, for the wait list, we're looking for supports through other either government or private nonprofit type resources. So the first thing we're doing is we're trying to reconnect with these families on the wait list. It's really, in a lot of ways, I'm trying to bring about a little bit of a change in attitude and culture, where we're recognizing that those 19,000 people on our waiting list are our consumers, and they are just as important to us as the people who happen to be enrolled in the waiver. After all, their families go to work, pay their taxes, and they have needs that we can assist them with. And so we want to do whatever we can for the wait list with what we have. There's a great deal of federal stimulus money coming down right now, particularly related to employment and assistance in obtaining and maintaining employment for really for all people who have issues with employment, which are very appropriate in some instances for the people that we serve and for waitlist families. So we're doing a great deal of coordinating and hooking up with our counterparts at vocational rehabilitation and other agencies. But one of the things is that we have to maintain constant, regular communication. And that's another thing. We're just trying to reconnect, find out where people are, and really just step up our efforts. And as we learn of opportunities, we want to have good, efficient ways to disseminate that information to families that might benefit from it.
Okay, and then how many people are on the APD wait list right now?
It is close to 19,000. It's a little less than 19,000.
A little higher than before.
Right.
It was about 18 before, so it's about 19 now.
It is growing.
Okay. And you know, I believe that APD should start helping people on the wait list by providing intensive case management. State support coordinators currently provide support for 200 to 400, 500 people, all waiting for services. Every person on the wait list has a state support coordinator, but many are not aware that they have a state support coordinator. At best, the people on the wait list are called by APD once a year, and many have not been called for several years. And this has resulted in APD losing contact with some of the people who are waiting for services. And after a person gets off the wait list and onto the Medicaid waiver program, they are provided with a support coordinator who's required to make at least 2 contacts per month. Even limited waiver support coordination requires that the support coordinator contacts the family once a month to check on the individual's health and well-being. So why doesn't APD, contact the people on the wait list at least once a month?
Well, I think the caseloads that you indicated in the preamble to your question is probably the biggest reason. It's just not practical. A waiver support coordinator has a maximum caseload of 43.
Exactly.
Whereas these people are typically at least 200. I think, as you indicated, some folks have 300, 400 people. So there's an issue of practicality and resources. Now, we are trying to make more regular contact with the individuals and families on the wait list than just once a year. And through these quarterly forms, even though we're communicating on even though it's mass communication versus an individual phone call, we do want to at least establish that level of communication, but much more frequently than once a year. we simply lose track of these people. We are finding as we're going through the process of trying to assess people on the wait list that we're finding a lot of people who have moved out of state and things like that. So it's this whole exercise is really, I think, illustrating to us the importance of making sure that we're establishing regular routine contact, even if it's not an ideal like once a month, but at least more frequently than what we've been doing in the past.
I mean, even if it was quarterly, I mean, it'd be much better.
Right.
You know, I mean, even if they have 500 people on their caseload, you know, a state support coordinator could sit there on the telephone, you know, and periodically call 50 people a week. You know, that's not a lot of phone calls, you know, in a whole week's period of time, you know, but that's just one example. But if they did it even like every 3 months, you know, that would make a world of difference.
Right, and one of the things, just an interesting idea, I know that the folks at Vocational Rehabilitation, they actually have entertained the idea of getting a group of employees, and that would be, in essence, they would run a call center.
Right.
So that you might could consolidate some of that routine checking up on people. And you may be able to just get a workforce that's dedicated to making contact, and that's something. Of course, I have the same budget constraints as every other state agency. The headquarters budget got cut 10%.
Right.
But this is an idea that recently came to my attention, but it's something I'm looking at. Maybe it's a way to create some efficiency and help us reach out on a more regular and frequent basis.
That could work. APD is now starting to do periodic meetings with the waitlist families. Can you talk about that and how you think it will help families that are on the waiting for services?
Well, I think it will help. I think it'll help APD in terms of its mission to serve people with developmental disabilities. It gives us an opportunity to stay in touch with people, which I think is of vital importance. It will give us a chance to disseminate information to these consumers and families. If we have identified community resources, if we know about a benefit offered through another state agency or a federal agency, things like that, just the information sharing and the staying in touch, I think, will go a long way towards allowing us to do what we can with what we have. It will not be a comprehensive $25,000 per person per year package of service, but I'm really focused on making sure that we do whatever we can with the resources we have and make them stretch, because again, these folks are just as important as anybody else we serve, whether they're enrolled or not. They are all Floridians, they're citizens, and they deserve our attention and our care.